You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I am your host. And today's episode will be brought to you after this question from our characters.
Hey Kay, are you like a family of grumpy people, or is there just you?
I'm from a long line of very, very grumpy people.
Oh.
But I don't have any brothers and sisters. I have a cousin who is not as grumpy as I am, but still, by your standards, still probably fairly grumpy. We had, I can't justify how I am, but I think it comes from my family. But I don't have any brothers and sisters that are also as morose and dour as I am. I thought I was getting better, Roy. Do I not have more of a chirpy demeanour now? Or am I still as grumpy as when you first met me? Surely not. I make jokes. I'm fairly sure I've made a joke.
Yeah. I think I heard a chirp. It might have been one of the warning signals, but I might have heard a chirp from your direction. It's been pretty intense. I mean, you had to share your body with a buddy, and he wasn't alive. That was a little bit strange. You're definitely a little tense around the family issues, and we're in a big family place, and I've got a brother, and I've been kind of thinking about the difference between brothers and friends and siblinghood and friendship, and there's a lot of crossover.
I like to consider you to be my friend. You're the first droid friend I've had.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, hopefully not the last, but you are certainly my friend. And I don't think, going back to what you said, I don't think I was sharing my body with him. I think I was being haunted. Does that make sense? I don't know these sort of things, but I'll tell you what. I will make a joke for you to show that I'm not as grumpy. Not right now, but it'll come. Organically, it'll come.
Oh, man, I was preparing myself. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I can make a joke.
I'm braced.
All right, just when you hear it, don't fake laugh. Don't put it on or anything like that. Just see how it goes. And then I'll need notes afterwards.
Okay. I'll be watching you, buddy.
Hi, my name's Ed Fortune. I will be the Storyteller, Games Master, Dungeon Master, Werewizard, referee of this session of Shadows of the Jedi. This is an actual play Star Wars game. I cannot run a tabletop role-playing game without friends, and luckily I have some amazing ones. So, you lovely people, could you please introduce yourselves in your own specific style?
My name is Adam. Hello, I am playing Tychus Barr, a Basilisk Guardian Armourer, whose emotional strength is his bravery, but his weakness is his recklessness.
Hi, I'm Mim. I play Roy. He's a B1 modified battle droid with specializations as bodyguard and heavy. He has a career as a hired gun and an obligation to the Barr family.
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Dr. Smex Karam Denaloa, a Cerean consular healer, whose emotional strength is his compassion and his weakness is his obstinacy. And I'm not quite sure what his style is. I'm thinking it's like very procedural. Follow the instructions very clearly.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I play Kay. He is a human warrior starfighter Ace striker. His emotional strength is his compassion, and his emotional weakness is his hatred.
And as the party has come back from what can be best described as a short break or period of downtime, I think it is appropriate to re-roll the destiny pool.
I have 2 white dots.
I have 1 light side point.
I have got one dark side point, sorry.
I have rolled 2 light side points.
And I have rolled 2 light side points.
So our starting destiny pool is 7 light, 1 dark.
Let's kick some.
It's almost like you're on a light side aligned planet. And, I mean, it's not. We've just rolled some random dice, but that does fit. So as we open, we are in the Syrian National Park known as Dakaba Park, which is a large national park full of looping plants, the big, weird kind of decapod-style plants that mark part of Syria's it's basically got lots of really freaky trees and birds that go whoop, and it's got that kind of, like, it's Star Wars, so, even the plants have big heads sort of thing.
Are we going to definitely walk past a small, unobtrusive lizard thing that then opens its mouth really wide and eats another small, unobtrusive lizard thing?
Absolutely. It's that sort of a place, and this is, it's curated as a park, it's very beautiful, But the car park, as the dog knows, is famous mostly for 3 massive rocks in the middle of the entire area, known as the Carver Rocks, which are 3 natural formations that look, with a squint and a bit of imagination, they remind you of 3 Syrians. 3 massive Syrian heads mostly, but like heads and bodies, but it's like kind of a natural, these aren't carved into the thing, these have just been formed, and it's part of this kind of vault, because this is a park that's built onto a dormant volcano, because that's the point of where you are. And the 3 formations are called the Father, the Daughter, and the Son, and the other little rocks everywhere are called the Children. And it's just this kind of famously wild park. And what you have at the moment is a large, because this is the only license that your allies were able to get you, you have a large, essentially circus caravan, on which you have smuggled onto your vehicle, your exploration vehicle, which is definitely not being pulled by some Ariks, but it looks like it is. And your license allows you to take this entertainment machinery via the scenic route to a local carnival, which you're not doing. You're just going through the park and stopping, but your cover story that has been given to you. So you have, essentially, we open with the party heading towards the launch site.
So how big is this vehicle? Because the shuttle's probably quite large. It's a mining shuttle, so it's not massive, but...
The Grebnax, named after a burrowing lizard rat from Keenabale, is about the size of an original Mini Cooper. Not the new kind of huge one. It is small, it is pretty compact. I suppose it's almost more like a Robin Reliant. It's like a teardrop shape. So we have one seat for the pilot in the front, with some reinforced glass around it, and then the rest of us kind of crunch in the back of it. There are no windows in the back of the Grebnax, but what there is at the front are multiple small laser ports that pop out and combine to form the mining laser for when we have to go in. And at the back, on a turret, effectively where the back doors are, it swings out from there and up on a turret on the roof, is a small but effective blaster cannon, just in case we have to get messy. But we can't have that out while we're actually tunnelling, so it tends to sit in its stowed capacity, like a little cupola at the back.
This is striking me as claustrophobic in the similar sense to how the Ugly was.
Oh yeah. It is technically smaller than the Ugly. It has no cargo space in it. It's got just about enough space for the 3 of us in the back, Kay in the front, and a little bit of storage space for our safety gear.
I fold my knees.
Yeah, you fold up really well.
Yeah, you take up no space at all, brother.
Right, so we trundle through the park then on this wagon covered tarp sort of thing on the back.
Yeah, so it's got like a carnival vibe to it.
Yeah.
The actual park itself has this kind of like carnival vibe, which has been arranged by Tima. It's just like set you up with these. You've got bogus documents. You have been stopped once by essentially curious people, like curious peace officers who've made nice conversation, not checked anything, just,
Entirely deadpan at that point, Kay has advised them that he's a clown and we're looking forward to performing. No jokes, no nothing like that. Even though I'm sure Roy's waiting for one, it's all very, yes, I'm the clown.
Hey, Roy has got his top hat and fake metal moustache hammered onto his face, so he is well up to this.
I'm assuming the dock has, made an appearance to the guards to lend some authenticity to. Yeah, they're supposed to be on this planet. They're not. They're not just crash landed here from somewhere.
He's a father. He's got kids. That means he's had sex.
There's an appropriate amount of like embarrassment by this woman.
I just need to say, you say it's a top hat, but all cerulean hats look like that.
Oh, God, I just want to see one with a bobble on.
Was that the one joke?
Yeah, no, that wasn't in character.
So we're going to cut to, essentially, you've found a relatively secluded area, and you've been, because of the way the route works and the path works, you've been circling the Carver Rocks a few times now. And what I would like is for the party to roll one of 3. You may pick either your skullduggery, your warfare, or your perception. The difficulty on the perception is 3, the difficulty on the other 2 is 2.
I will roll skullduggery, since I have exactly the same amount of dice in skullduggery as I do in perception, but the difficulty is less.
Perception is the harder one because it's just like sheer luck that you see this, whereas the other two skills are like you kind of passively, your brain basically going, I'm competent at this sort of thing.
Yeah, I have no ranks in any of these things, but I've just got higher intelligence than cunning, so I've got to go for warfare.
1 success for me on Skullduggery, Ed.
I have 2 success and 1 advantage.
I did Skullduggery 2, and I have 2 failures and 1 advantage.
And I'm on Perception, and I got 1 success and 1 disadvantage.
I'm clearly far too busy trying to do my mind-reading act or perfect that, because I'm still quite disappointed that we're not going to the circus.
When we're finished here, Roy, we'll definitely check in on some of these exhibits. I mean, they've got to set themselves up, so by the time we've finished, mining deep down here, surviving pyroclastic surges and toxic vapours and heat that'll char everyone but you, but probably melt you down to slag, we'll have to come back and have some R&R. I mean, we've got 5 weeks before the Empire is due here. We could probably spend a day or 2 getting some cotton candy and, riding the rides.
I'd like that.
Ed, I know I got a success in, but I would like to suggest what my disadvantage is.
Oh, go ahead.
My disadvantage is, whilst I see it, I'm not able to act on it, because that is in fact my card. And I am far too surprised that is the...
Okay, so essentially what kind of happens for those of you who got disadvantage, almost literally trip over the clue, and then you look up and you see what's going on, is you're not the only people here. So essentially there's not many people in this park. There's a few small families wandering around. There's not many people in this park, and you're going along the path, and then suddenly there is a bump as you hit a discarded canister that really shouldn't be there, because absolutely littering is a no-no on this world. And as Tychus looks down, you notice that this is definitely not a Syrian piece of waste or junk. This is not a piece of Syrian litter. This is the sort of canisters, water canisters, carry canisters that you find on Keenabel. This is the normal thing that you find, like if you were running a job for huts, this is the normal thing that you would pick up from Central. And as you look up, you realise that there are people in the rocks, hiding in the rocks, moving in the rocks, that are also aliens, that aren't Syrians. And it's only because you are very good at what you do and remarkable beings that you realise that there's some people who really don't seem to have a right to be here, hiding in the rocks. This world is fairly xenophobic. You non-Syrians are here with permission. So it is remarkable that A, you have just tripped over a piece of alien trash, and B, there's something in the rocks.
You all seen this, right?
That's incredible. I know, right? He got the card first off.
Up in the rocks, Kay, we've got some visitors here that aren't native, which worries me because the volcano's not supposed to subside enough for another 5 weeks. That's the whole reason we pushed ahead. So either these people are confident enough that they can hide here for 5 more weeks, or they're trying to jump the gun on us as well, and we're just very lucky to have beaten them to the punch. But this piece of trash we just bumped over there, that looks like the sort of stuff that I used to cobble together in the streets back in the day. That's Keenabel trash. That's not Syrian trash.
Have they seen us?
That I don't know, but 1 second. I'm just going to turn on our sensor baffles, and while I'm trying to look around there to see if they've clocked us, I'm going to flip on the sensor baffles in the Grebnax, which make it very, very hard for us to be picked up on radar and scanners and other such basically, it reduces people seeing us to having to use the Mark 1 hairy eyeball as opposed to any technological stuff.
If you don't mind, could you please make me I'm going to say either mechanics or computers. Either is good. The difficulty is 2 either way.
I'll roll mechanics.
I had a feeling you would.
I'm slightly better at it. Only slightly better at it.
You get slightly different results depending on what skill you use.
Yeah.
But I would...
5 success.
Wow. Okay, so as you flip switches and turn things on, as you turn on your sensor baffles, obviously that also detects active sensors. And what there appears to be, as you kind of do a pip, is you can see that there are there's 3 key points of geothermic sensors, geological sensors, devices here for detecting movement. And if you were to hazard a guess, on 5 successes, this is lightly crude. There's 3 sensors and either 3 people or 5 people, and 2 of them are very small, if you see what I mean.
When you say movement, do you mean like seismic movement or tactical movement like people? Because that sounds like 2 different things.
Yes, is the answer to both those questions. It's therefore it's giving you a sense, a view of what's going on underground and what's going on with underground movement. These are underground sensors that appear to be on 5 as Tychus looks at it. It's currently, like, you would say those sensors on the broad sweep are looking for thermic change, but you could certainly change it so it could detect heartbeats if you wanted it to. You don't know how confident these guys are.
Seismic activity and heartbeats, two very similar things. They're both basically wobbles. It's just one is on the macro scale and one on the...
They're very powerful sensor sweeps that you could be like, if it's this powerful, you could probably narrow it down into tiny range or into the big range. And given the amount of energy it's giving off right now, it's probably set to big. But you can, given their positioning, they're probably quite advanced.
Okay, so I'm picking up 3 sets of seismic sensors monitoring, what's happening down below, spread out here, here, and here. I kind of grab one of the visitors maps to the park that I'm sure that Roy certainly has probably picked up, and kind of quickly mark on there where I'm picking up these sensor sweeps from. Now, that roughly corresponds with where I've noticed these people hiding in the rocks, which suggests to me that it's not Cerean Geological Society monitoring what's going on, it's these outsiders. Now, I'm pretty confident that they won't pick up the Grebnax in terms of our heat signature or whatever. They might pick up us tunnelling down through the rocks, though, if we have to start tunnelling, because that is a large enough shift that it's a little bit awkward to mask. I mean, I'm pretty confident they won't be able to pin it down to us specifically. They might just think that there's, I don't know, fractures in the earth or giant lava burrow worms or whatever it is that you have here. Again, pretty bold, because these machines, these sensors are using, they're no subtle devices. Is your park not police there, Doc? I mean, I'm not one for calling in the authorities, but I know how closely you lot keep things down here.
I'd like to think we were keeping pretty good tabs on this sort of thing, yeah. But given that we don't really want to transmit messages and say, we found some litter, can somebody call for assistance? I don't know. Do we want to make an official complaint and hope for backup? Or is that going to attract too much attention to what we're doing?
I'm no narc, Doc. I'm no narc. What I'm saying, really, I suppose, is that suggests to me, then, that they're either here with permission or they're here with permission and some brown envelopes have changed hands under tables. Neither of which is going to help us if we call the authorities, because, A, I'm not one for that anyway, but also, they're not subtle enough for it not to be noticed. If I can pick them up here, your park rangers should be all over them.
Well, definitely. I mean, think of it from a different point of view. I am one of the authorities, and I didn't know about this, so this sort of thing shouldn't really be occurring.
Okay.
So if there's corruption going on, I should be duty bound to report it. Really.
Well, that's a tomorrow problem.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think then when we get to the site, well, I suppose we've got 2 options. We go and whack them, or we go as quietly as we can and hope they don't think that we're anything more than weird earthquake activity or large wildlife or something. And I suppose they're not going to have something like the Grebnax to get down there after us, because if they did, they'd already be down there. So we may still be able to get in there and get it done without any form of pursuit. We just might have a welcoming committee looking for us when we come back up. Unless we tunnel up somewhere totally outside of here and, ask permission and forgiveness when we've reappeared in the middle of a taco stand or something.
I mean, given what we're there to do in the first place, I think permission, we might be justified in what we do. But yeah, it would be a shame if we had to, dig up somebody else's back garden for a bit. But again, yeah, I think needs must. My instinct at the minute is, if we could be the first to get down there, I think we should be.
So you arrive at your actual destination site, which is essentially a large series of natural pools that you can glide into and then drill through, if you see what I mean. As you are heading across, you do see the chalets just in the distance, and you do see a family of Syrians who have, thankfully, just finished up for the day, and they're just sorting themselves out, and they're just heading on their way back. They've just hitched their wagon, and one of them's still sorting their towels out.
It's a real hoopy frood.
Yep. They've just finished for the day, and you can, like, you could literally walk another 5 minutes and find chalets and little kind of beach chairs and this sort of thing. So I'm assuming that you're just going to unpack and drive your space-reliant Robin into the pond?
Yeah, I think that's probably the only real thing we can do.
It's that or we go and whack him. But I don't know whether or not that's what we want to do. If we go in with our guns blazing, then we are also not going to be subtle, and we might be the ones answering awkward questions from the authorities. So,
yeah.
Unusual though it is for me, I think this time I'm more inclined to not go in shooting just yet.
Did any of you pick up the litter, by the way?
No, it's not our litter.
Okay.
Not my litter, not my fingerprints on it, and, not my park.
It was a drinks canister, wasn't it?
It was a carry canister.
Yeah. No.
Cool. Could you describe the interior of the Grebnax, please, to the party?
Yeah, so it is fairly cramped. As I say, it's teardrop shaped. There is a pilot's seat at the front in the pointy end of the teardrop, and we sit in the butt of the teardrop, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of the seating arrangement is 1, then 1, and then 2, if you kind of get what I mean. It's kind of a T-shape seating formation, because, again, it's pretty small. It's slightly longer than it is wider, so I suspect it will be Kay in the front, then Tychus behind him with his various panels of monitoring and technology and sensor baffling, with the Doc and Roy seated at the back. There is a slot for Roy to plug into to start manning the blaster cannon if we need to, and for the Doc there is a couple of sick bags.
Oh, okay.
Just in case, and a magazine. There is also a boot that kind of opens up underneath where the blaster cannon tucks in, and Tychus, while we've kind of pulled up here, gets out of the Grebnax, opens that up and pulls on his armour, kind of locks it down, pulls out Kay's, and then turns to Doc and kind of pulls out a hard suit as well for you. It's clearly been made by Tychus. It has a very similar build to the armour that he's wearing. It is vacuum sealed, it has lots of reinforced struts and exoskeletal bits to deal with the pressure, and it is very thickly coated in like a gel that's slightly tacky to the touch. Comes complete with extremely pointy helmet. Doc, I built this for you. Your lab coat's nice, but it's not going to deal with the environments down there. This has got some heat sink gel. It should keep you relatively cool. There's separate air supplies in there, and it's vacuum sealed. I mean, you can wander around outside in space in this if you really want to, but it's mostly designed for what we're going to be facing down there, extreme temperatures. Roy, I had a look at your specs, especially the new torso that I built for you a while back, but you should be alright down there as long as you don't skinny dipping in lava.
I did have a slight concern that I am filled with many explosive devices in a hot environment.
You'll be right.
Okay.
Most of them are inert until you pull the pin. And the blaster gas is in extra compression. Actually, that is a point. Pop out your blaster gas containers for your guns. I'll just quickly whack some of this heat gel on them as well. Just keep them a bit cooler.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bow.
And yeah, I take the blaster gas canisters out of Roy's arms with his help, smother them in heat sealant gel, kind of pop them back in. Aye, that should do you. I'm hoping we won't have to get out of here until we're in the temple itself, which I'm presuming will be saved from the worst of the temperature environments, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't need to be going down there to blow it up. The lava would do it all for us, but better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I do not anticipate any problems with this current adventure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be grand.
Right. Oh, Kay, do you want to describe what decoration is on the side of the Grebnax?
Yes. As it's a van we have been building ourselves, Kay spent a fair bit of time doing the testing and everything, but not really doing anything while Kay and Tychus built it. I say Kay and Tychus. Well, Tychus built it. So while he was given this amount of free time, he did some, what could be the best described as van art. If you bear with me a second, I need to remember what we put on it, because it's been a while.
I seem to recall, is it not some sort of space bunny rabbit?
It is some form of space bunny rabbit. I had a picture I did of it somewhere.
I think it's a Leppy in wizard robes carrying a huge gun that's shooting fire or something like that.
That's what it's going to be now.
In the grand tradition of, kind of slightly grungy vehicles, that really shouldn't be where they are right now in, weirdly, national parks. You've got this very kind of space hippie, incredibly likely to get you noticed by the authorities, but also sort of awesome.
Yeah, it is a Lepi in space with stars around him, blue, with a looking very metal, with a blaster rifle, firing off blaster rifle with a jetpack. It looks like the cheesiest tripped out van sort of decal that you can possibly imagine. It looks really quite, it's not subtle. It is not subtle at all.
Are you saying it's a little bit like a prettied up original design for Bucky O'Hare before they decided?
It kind of is. It's the sort of a van design on the sides that the Doctor from Archer would paint on the side of his van. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Krieger art.
Yeah, it's Krieger art, very much so.
Your tripped out, slick looking space mining vehicle / space Robin Reliant, which I think Robin Reliant's a fairly well-known cultural reference, he said.
I mean, in the UK they are.
Yeah, it's a car with 3 wheels. It's really interesting. Going around corners was fun. If you can find an episode where I believe Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear drives one, it is a lot of fun. This is no diss, because there are a lot of very big fans for the Reliant Robin, or the Robin Reliant, as I was once told it should be properly spoken as. It's a good car. Go have a look. It's hilarious. Shouldn't be allowed on the roads, in my personal opinion. Again, love you guys, you lovers of Robin Reliance. They're iconic, but terrifying.
I'll tell you what it's closer in look to, given it's slightly more van-like. The Trotters Independent Trading Van from Only Fools and Horses, which is a Robin Reliant van.
It's called something else, but yeah, it's not important what it's called.
Yes.
Do you know the reason why they exist, which is kind of cool? It's because of the 3-wheel, 4-wheel, bicycle, trike, and car rules. So they came under a different level of insurance and road safety levels. And yeah, it's fun. Go look them up. I'm not a car fanatic, but these are an interesting piece of British culture.
A Reliant Regal.
That's the
There
one.
we go.
Anyway, so you head into this vehicle that has been made by your trusted friend, and I'm going to need some sort of piloting role. I'm assuming this is piloting planet.
It is. It's piloting planetary. It has handling -2, so it's 2 setback dice onto it just because it's wallows.
Yeah, flies like a brick.
I think actually technically it's 3 setback because it's specialised, so as soon as we're in the lava and in the volcanic nastiness, one of those setback dice will go, but until we get under there, it's 3 setback dice.
Currently you're in water, so it's not used to. What it does is it makes a lot of noise underneath. If you say not noise, it generates a lot of energy because it's trying to dig into water. I'm going to flip my 1 remaining dark side point.
What difficulty are we on?
It's a difficulty 3 to get the initial launch, and that will tell me exactly, essentially what I have here is, for the use of the listener and for the players, I have a clock, and depending on what you roll and how well you're doing so far depends on what problems you jump into. But this initial launch, this getting into the lava flow, is quite dangerous.
We've got 8 light side points if you want to count Flip, Mikey.
Yep, I will do that. So 2 yellow, 3 green, a force dice, 2 setback, 2 purple, and a red because she flipped black.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My word. Yeah, that's a huge amount of dice and a lot of setback on there as well. That's 2 advantage, and I've got a light side, so 1 success.
Wow.
That's a huge amount of cancelling things out.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay.
Well, Kate's a space pilot, not a ground pilot.
I mean, I've still got 5 dice on it, but it's...
I was genuinely expecting something to fall off. I'll be honest.
Have faith in my building skills.
Using your piloting skills, you're able to figure out how to kind of drift. Like, you suddenly realise that you're generating a lot of heat and energy, and you realise that you're in water. All you need to do is sink and then turn on at the right point. So you do that. You sink.
Yeah, the trick there is to stop piloting, and
Yes.
then it goes out.
And then just as you hit the crucial point that's been identified for you to get into the lava flow, you click on and you burst into the lava tunnels. Can I have, now I'm trying to think of the appropriate kind of skills to use, and I'm open for suggestions, but initially can I have vigilance checks from everyone? because I'm assuming you're all paying attention.
Yes. What's the difficulty, Ed?
Difficulty is 2.
Failure and a threat for Tychus. Clearly, I'm too busy focusing on the life support readings and the sensor baffles and getting the plasma drill ready to work and the environmental readings and all that sort of stuff.
Failure, but an advantage for me. Incidentally, my other roll, my 2 advantage, I would like to hold them back for somebody's roll. So if somebody wants to add a blue dice in.
Can I take that blue dice?
Yeah, can take it.
The new environment suit I've received from Tychus has given me an extra threat, I believe, which means I have come up with this with a net of exactly 1 success.
Well, that's good. At least you've got a success. Mine is an absolute wash. Nothing at all.
So yes, everybody fails except the Doc.
Doc, it's nothing you can quite put your finger on, but there is definitely something, like as soon as you hit the floor, things feel heavier and you're not sure what it is. Everyone else takes 1 strain as the vehicle itself essentially heats up, so you all suffer strain, and it just feel like there's something that's things feel a little bit heavier. The craft just feels a little bit more sluggish, which is hard to tell given the fact that you've never really piloted this before.
We do not take strain. We have improved safety features.
Aha!
We suffer 1 less strain.
You take exactly no strain as the lights turn on blue, as that works, essentially, as that system kicks on. Now, what is your plan to navigate through the lava flow? You have a rough direction as to where you need to be. I'm assuming that you have some data crystals and some also written notes, because it's this party, and you've done your research as to where you need to be. How are you navigating? What are you using to get through this lava flow?
We've had access to the Doc's wives and their suite of useful contacts and information. I imagine that we've programmed a sat-nav and we just connected up and pressed start journey.
Roy will also have helpfully drawn a map as part of a craft project with the kids, using some of the information. So he also has a physical one that he can unroll, because he was using the information as we were doing this for some edutainment with the family. So that's quite cool. And one of your younger daughters, by the way, Doctor, has written a fantastic essay on what likely geological phenomenon we are likely to experience.
Oh, I will give them a gold star when I get home. I'm also thinking I would like to... I realised it didn't work with a wallet, but it might work with something a bit bigger. I would like to try and use the Force Seek again.
Okay.
Just to give us a general sort of compass. Compass bearing seems wrong because that's a too deep thing, but you know what I mean.
So you make that roll first because it's going to affect the other rolls.
Okay, I have rolled a light side point and a dark side point, and I am required to spend both of them to get insight into a general direction.
Oh, at this point I should point out Sadie did give you a gift of 2 large pills that she advised you to, if you absolutely positively have problems with your abilities, you should take one of these and only one of these. If you absolutely, she advises only if you absolutely must. She thinks it will probably help with your abilities, though it might have a physiological cost.
I mean, I think we're too early in the journey to rely on such things, so I will save that for an emergency.
I'm just putting this onto the microphone rather than but yeah, so the listeners also know that you have essentially
a boost if we need it. Yeah,
a force boost. Yes. So what did you get again?
I got a light side. I am going to spend my dark side point because I think it is important that we. I am sensing, this is an undue amount of celebration from the GM
for a single dark side point.
Yes, it's just that you've never spent one before, and I'm just delighted that you've.
I'm sure I have, but
no, you haven't. You've specifically never spent a dark side point. Oh, apart from when you, back in season 2, when you feared the plants to death. That's about it.
Well, I mean, they're on my home world. I'm claiming threat to my lands. Get off my lawn.
So, as you reach out, you definitely have a compass and direction. You can feel the temple, and as you kind of reach out, so a couple of things. One, where you're headed towards is big in terms of the force, and it lights up in both the light and dark side. There's definitely a sense of balance here. You think roughly that those 3 big rocks that I mentioned at the start of this particular episode, yeah, you think you're heading directly beneath those, right, very far down, but directly beneath those 3 big natural rocks. That's roughly where you're going. You'd say that the father, which is the big middle one, would be you'd be dead on center to the 2 there. You know where you're going I'm going to need 3 checks. Survival check, a mechanics check, and again another piloting check. You may all take a single boost die from the fact that you have a map that's been made out of macaroni and crayon, and you get an additional boost die from the fact that the dock is, like, I take it you're communicating this to the party.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for something better than, Kay saying, where are we going? I'm saying down. But so aim towards underneath the father is a good enough indication.
So you've got a feel for where the lava flows are.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those, the force flows in mysterious ways, and so does lava, so... Maybe
a medicine check.
Okay, am I making this like a regular medicine check? Because I have...
Just a regular medicine check. If you don't need to make a roll, let me know. You only need one. The difficulty is 1.
3 success, 4 advantage.
Okay, so if this was a living thing, you are heading to the heart.
Okay.
You are penetrating from the top of the head to where the main Cerean heart, where the bottom chamber of a Cerean heart is. So you would go through those muscles, those veins. You are put in mind of a body, but rather than blood, this is lava.
Right, sorry, is this like that diagram of, what is it, the Easter Island heads and Stonehenge as the toes on the other side of the Earth? And, like, imagine a body in between those two things, and that's where and look for the heart.
Pretty much.
Right, okay. So there are 3 heads, aim for the heart of the middle one.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, because you are a doctor, that's what you're put in mind of.
So you just hear over the con, there's a click in his nose. Can I have an actual heading rather than this mumbo-jumbo nonsense?
I mean, I dare say the doc can probably either with computers or mentally work out how to convert a Cerean body structure into a latitude and longitude and an altitude. Is it what is a depth rather than altitude? But you know what I mean. Is in negative altitude.
A bearing is what you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Put it that way. That way.
Far more helpful. Thank you.
I will convert that numerically into something sounding sufficiently that way.
Right, because the dock has a handle on the shape of the journey, and where the lava flows are, your difficulty is 2. And I need a mechanics check to keep from Tychus to keep everyone safe. Roy, what are you looking for? How are you contributing at this point?
I'll be looking for areas of weakness in surrounding walls to make sure that we are on top of any changes to those lava flows. If it looks like there's degradation, I'll be looking for areas where we may need to be particularly careful because it could go. I'll be looking for debris in the flow to make sure that we're avoiding that, and again, structural supports for the areas. If there's anything I can do with the sensors that we've got, I know we're saying we're going by GPS, but if there's additional things that can point out changing densities or heat booms that perhaps were unexpected from areas where there may be trapped lava pools that are working their way through. I'm basically going to be looking for, if things were to go wrong, what are the most likely scenarios to go wrong, and what signs should I be looking for that those are going to happen.
So pick between either warfare or vigilance, I would say.
No good at either, but it feels more like it's going to be vigilance than warfare.
And your difficulty is 2, again with a boost die. 2 boost die, 1 for the dock and 1 for the macaroni map. Same for everyone else, 2 boost for the dock and the macaroni map, and your difficulty is also 2.
Oh yeah, we're doing good. That's 2 successes and 3 advantage.
Gosh, okay, I'll get to Roy in a moment. What's on the piloting check?
Piloting check is 2 successes, 4 advantage, and a dark side. I imagine the dark side is just Kay's slight annoyance that go towards the heart of the thing. It's like, we're in a ship, give me numbers, but he's pushing it down, he's ignoring it, I'm not using it, and we're going to use the 2 successes and 4 advantage. And what I would like to use my advantage for is you can spend 3 advantage in a normal combat to ignore environmental factors. So I think I'm getting more of a hang of going through lava, so I'm going to, on my next roll, ignore some setback.
Okay. How do you do on the mechanics check?
Failure, 6 advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the systems goes down. You can spend 3 of those advantage to pick a system.
Go on, environmental controls, go on.
We all overheat and die.
What is it that needs your maintenance, essentially? Something has failed.
I'm going to say probably the sensor baffles.
Okay.
Because they stick out a little bit too much. So I'm going to have them go for the moment, because they are less important than, keeping us alive. And I'll just be working on fixing those as we go.
So essentially what happens is this. Roy, you're the first to, because you're looking through the systems and you're kind of looking through various bits and pieces. The Doc, you get a sense of danger, but it comes too late. And then Roy realizes what's going on. As Kay, you enter a chamber, a larger area, basically a massive bubble. And as Tychus is tinkering on the systems and trying to get the buffles, there's a huge ping that comes from the craft as something appears to rock and smack on the side. And as you look on the green kind of display, what you can see is lots and lots of very hot tentacles, as a thing that lurks in the heart of Cerea is an enormous lava kraken, tries to hurt and eat your ship as a rare and new delicacy. And on that mode, I think we'll leave the show for next episode.
This wasn't in the essay. I'm ducking points for this.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.